Hello, students. We'll start in 3-4 minutes. Sheikh Abdul, today when we discuss the tips, we'll use Chat GPT to see the differences between C and Python and C++ and Python. Okay. Oracle is a super set. So Oracle database, Oracle application server, Oracle warehouse. What are we talking about? That has to be clear. But I presume you're talking about database. So database and programming are very unrelated. Sorry, that is Radha. So I will I will do that. Let me share my screen, and when we reach tips, we'll discuss this. Okay, let's start slowly. Our agenda for today, like always, we start with the last day's tips on AI, ML, Python, and data science, analytics, etc. that we have gathered. Decision tree using Python and a priori using Python is what we are going to see. Uh, Coming to our tips that we discussed yesterday and day before. Yesterday we discussed the process for k-means clustering in terms of data cleaning, PCA, normalization, elbow method, and so on. I hope everybody remembers, right? That is something that we saw yesterday. By the way, my screen is clear and my voice is clear. Can I get thumbs up to know if everybody is able to hear clearly? Okay, perfect. So that was one process that we saw yesterday. Along with it, we looked at missing value treatment. How do we do missing value treatment in a data set? So today, let's start with the tips question that has been asked to us. We can take it towards the end or in the beginning, doesn't matter. Both are fine. We obviously these days start our day with Chat GPT only, right? So let's write explain the difference between C and Python. Let's also ask part. So C is compiled, Python is interpreted. C is statically typed, while Python is dynamically typed. That means that variables, when declared, have to be inferred from the context, must be declared in C with the types, data types in C, whereas they will be inferred from the context in Python. So I generally teach this to many students whenever I discuss in terms of C, C++, and Python and Java and so on. I haven't discussed it with you, but this is something important we should be aware of, that how data types of variables are declared, right? So you will write int a, but typically in Python, you will just write a. Based on the context or the data, it will automatically assign a data type. It has its own set of advantages. It makes the life easy of the developer, but debugging and other things become more difficult, and the errors come at runtime as well, right? So that's the major difference between a statically typed language and a dynamically typed language. I'm kind of from the traditional world who prefers more stricter languages, but then I'm okay with all. C is procedural, whereas Python is object oriented. Here it is, right? So statically typed or no, procedural or no, object oriented or no, speed, control. Obviously, you will have higher control because you are statically typed, right? One major reason. Ease of development difficult, but that makes life of the developer difficult. As I was saying, right? It is a lot easier to do development in Python compared to C, C++. Flexibility also obviously will decrease at times, right? Though I would not 100% agree with this in the sense you can build libraries on top. But yes, the language per se is less flexible. Let's see here. Similar points would be given. Now let's see C++ and Python. I like the way Bart gives us tables right in our answers. So here C++ is more complex and rigid as expected, just like C. Whereas Python, on the other hand, is a lot more easier. Statically typed again. Python is dynamically typed. Memory management can be manual or automatic. Um Python has automatic memory management. Performance C++ is compiled language that produces highly efficient machine code, whereas this is more. Uh, However, Python has various libraries and frameworks that utilize compiled code, but it is, on the other hand, interpreted, which makes it slower than C++. Application domain C++ is more system development, game development, high performance applications, and so on, and so on, right? Let's see if we have a table here. Yes. So procedural, interpreted, compiled, interpreted, statically typed, procedural, object oriented, speed, control, ease of development, difficult, clearly written, flexibility, low, high, right? So that way you are clear. There is one very interesting thing now that you are asking in terms of language comparison. You can search a language called as Rust. It is becoming very famous as a replacement for C, C++, if I know. It has its own way of programming. You might want to check beyond our course, but I'm just putting it across to you all because somebody asked me a question on the differences between the languages. So it has some very unique features which are not there in other languages, um, right? So in terms of control over memory, safety, and so on. Okay, so check it out. Not now. Let's go back to our presentation. Yes, one thing from yesterday we haven't yet checked on BARD, which we should check, is PCA and explain principal component analysis. The PCA that we saw. I did explain it briefly, but then and explain missing value treatment for the data set. Then we will exchange the questions. See, removal is something that I discussed with you. Imputation, where we can do mean median mode. Hot deck imputation replaced with regression analysis, indicator variables, domain knowledge, and so on, right? So that's something that we can do with missing values. Very interesting. We discussed three or four out of these techniques, not all. Now, this is principal component analysis, where we try to decrease the number of uh, columns in the simplest terms or features, right? So dimensionality reduction by data visualization and so on. Let's also type explain various dimensionality reduction techniques. Yes. Briefly explain about boosting operation on Python. We will see that also. Principal component analysis, factor analysis, independent component analysis, sparse coding, feature selection, PCA, and so on. It has written it twice. Let's also ask the questions from there to here. Yeah, this is done, right? Missing value treatment here. No. Explain dimensionality reduction techniques. Let's see what it shows us. So deletion, imputation, which we discussed, model-based imputation, which is machine learning, the factors, percentage of missing values, distribution of missing values, the importance of missing values, and so on. You can't delete if it is important, right? So you have to treat it in some way. PCA, SVD, TSNE, LDA, and autoencoders. This is the list I am more familiar with in the sense the way it has been put across, right? So that's how it works, dimensionality reduction. And there was one more question, classification in Python. So we won't say Python, we will say machine learning and boosting. So explain boosting in machine learning. And let's say explain classification techniques in machine learning. So this one, explain boosting is a machine learning ensemble technique that combines multiple weak learners to create a strong predictive model, which means your ensemble means you join one or two related, similar or different types of methods in machine learning and build something new, right? So instance weighing, base model training, iterative model training, weight update, final prediction, and so on, right? Key characteristics. So they are explaining. And let's see here classification techniques. So obviously decision tree we are going to see today. Support vector machine, naive based classifiers, k nearest neighbors, and so on. Number of features, complexity, amount of data, and so on, right? So that way we have uh, very good options here, right? Let's also ask boosting to this one. So explain boosting in machine learning to Bard. Gradient boosting, EDA, and so on. Then other ones, the loss function, the types of weak learner, and so on. These are considerations or factors, right? Okay. So that is that on our start for the day. We'll come back to uh, more of ChatGPT towards the end of the session, which is 1 hour from now. For 1 hour now, we'll see a decision tree and a priori. Is that okay for all of you? Till here, everyone is with me? Okay, fine. So let me open the links. Let's start with a priori. And let's start with an Excel sheet. Right? So suppose you go to a grocery store, right? You all would have done shopping sometime or the other in your life, right? Or at least accompanied your parents. How is the bill generated or the invoice, serial number, item, uh, quantity, um, price, or let's say cost per quantity, price, tax, and finally towards somewhere here, you will have a total. You have seen such bills and invoices multiple times in your life, right? Now, what does this algorithm do for us? Tell me, what do you buy with bread or atta? What do you guys buy with bread or atta when you go to a store? Any examples? What do you buy with bread? Oil, very good example. So let's write oil. Butter also let's write. Let's write vegetables. Let's write rice. Let's write egg. Let's write spices and so on. Okay. So people will buy such things. Okay. Quantity, let's say bread is one, oil is 1 liter, butter is one. You buy 5 types of vegetables. Rice, let's say 1 unit. Egg, let's say 10. Spices, 2 packets. Whatever the packets may be, for simplification, I'm just writing. Cost, this is let's say 35. This is let's say 250. This is let's say 90. This is let's say 250. This is let's say 100. This is let's say 75. and this is, let's say, 100. Okay. Now, some record is getting built here. Then price by multiplying, so only difference will be here because you have got 10. And here it will be this into this, right? Rest is same. 35, 250, 90, 200, 100. Again, some, right? And then obviously tax. Tax will be simply this into 18%. GST, I'm just counting. So our total is this. And I should make this with tax. That is better. Okay. For explaining terms. It is this. Right? Now our bill is 3156. What other things are you able to decipher from this? We are able to decipher with invoice 1. We are able to decipher with invoice 1 that people are buying these things together. Now there will be a master inventory, right? There will be a master inventory. What all will it have? It will probably have at least 5,000, 10,000 things, right? So mainly serial number, item, price with tax, right? So, so like this, there will be a very long list of at least 3, 4,000 items, which will include toothpaste, toothbrush, um, other types of home consumables like washing powder, plastic utilities, or whatever it is, uh, consumables, cotton, spoons, uh, cloths for kitchen, and so on. So a typical grocery store will have at least 3, 4,000. These are called as SKUs. They have SKU. So stock keeping unit, right? Now they need to decide here how much quantity they need to keep. Do you all agree? They cannot keep indefinite quantity of bread and butter and vegetables and eggs and rice and all this. It will, after a while, it will get spoiled for sure. Does everybody agree to that? Right? So they need to understand that how much quantity they need to keep. Do they need to keep, let's say, 50 bread every day, or the butter should be 50, or vegetables should be like 25 kg every day if it's a small store? How much rice they should be keeping? 100 kg. Eggs, should they be keeping 100 units? Spices, maybe 250 packets, and so on. Now, it is a very difficult exercise, right? Because everything has an expiry date where it spoils, right? When it becomes kind of useless, right? And either you have to return or throw it away, right? So what do? You keep generating invoices and you keep a track of the invoice. Let's say for one day we generated 10 invoices. This is 2. I'm going to generate another one. This is 3, right? And so on. In a day, 100 or whatever number is sold, right? Now, see, the point is there is a trend that is getting created. Let's say the second one is a pure vegetarian guy. So he buys with vegetables some fruits. The person buys fruits, right? And the third one is, let's say, doesn't eat oil. The person eats olive oil. He's very health conscious, he or she. And also they eat fruits. Now, this is the difference between the three. Fourth one is a junk eater. Let's say, what does he or she eat? Chips, burgers. So they will buy things for it. Obviously, a grocery store won't give you a burger, but things for it. Vegetables, because he will need that, bread, chocolates, and so on. You get the idea, right? So this is invoice four. Fifth one is kids. So they need Cerelac. Though people say it's not good to feed Cerelac, but sometimes people do buy it. They will buy Boost, okay? Or for that matter, um, milk, lot of milk, ghee, because they want to give it to kids, right? And so on. So this kind of is the fifth invoice. Now you see the variation between all of them. One is buying for kids, the other is buying for junk food. This is probably a youngster between the age of, let's say, 20 to 30. This is a parent. This is a healthy eating person. This one is a normal person. And this one is a foodie. They love to eat different types of food. They want to experiment with it and so on. But if you look at it, the trends are building for you. Here, the trend is with bread, all these things are being bought. Here, with bread and oil, these things are being bought. Healthy person buys olive oil with bread. The the youngster buys unhealthy things at times, other than vegetables, right? The parent is by trying to buy healthy things for the kid. Okay. Obviously, Cerelac and Boost won't go together. Let's say they have two kids, one middle aged and one pretty young. Okay. So they are buying all these kinds of things. They buy multigrain bread and so on. Right. Now, this kind of invoices every day, 50, 100 are getting generated. Now, do you see there is some trend that is getting built up between all these invoices? Do you see any trends, all of you? Can I get a thumbs up for this? People are building trends here, right? Now, these are the trends we want to study in association, mining, and a priori, right? Based on what is getting sold, what is the likelihood of other things being bought? If I say that every day 66% of my people buy bread, then what are the other things that are likely to be sold along with it, right? We want to understand that. So we see that one trend is oil and butter goes with bread generally. Vegetables also go with it, and spices also go with it. But with olive oil, other things go, but then that's slightly the healthier option, right? With chips, all these things go. So we are building trends. Now, when you see the quantities and make totals and so on, the people, the owner will be able to understand washing powder will come here. Families will buy this, right? So now the owner will understand how much quantity he needs to keep or replenish every week so that my losses are minimal, right? So that my losses are minimal. This is the kind of analysis we will do with association mining and a priori. This can also be used to some extent for disease prediction. If somebody has one type of disease, how much chance is there that they will get another type of disease and so on, right? So those are the kind of things that this a priori and the larger area of association mining tries to check. Did everybody understand my point? Okay, I got two thumbs up, three now. Okay. Now let's go to BARD and type association mining, and then we will see the code. Explain association mining. Let's also put it here. Association mining, also known as association rule learning and market basket analysis, is a technique used in data mining and machine learning to discuss interesting relationships or associations among items in large data sets. It focuses on identifying patterns of co-occurrence or dependency between items based on their occurrence in transactions or events. The transactions here are the invoices that I showed you, right? The goal of association mining is to uncover frequent item data sets and generate association rules, right? Rest is the same, like how we do every time, item set frequency and so on, right? Now let's ask this also. Explain association mining and its algorithms. Okay, Shobha, I will explain the topic once again of Excel. Give me 2 minutes. And Meghna, till this loads, asks me uh, what is preferable, testing or developer role? There are many roles. Testing is there, developer is there, business analyst, product manager, data analyst. So pick and choose what you like. That is more important, right? And what you are capable of. So that will help you more rather than me. I generally don't prescribe a path. I will show you two, three options and tell you the pros and cons. Then you can pick and choose which one you are preferring. Now, association mining is a process of discovering interesting relationship between items in large data sets. It is a type of data mining that focuses on identifying co-occurrence patterns, right? A priori is something that we are trying to see. Okay. Then there is ECLAT, there is FP growth, and so on, right? Okay. So that is that. Now let's see the a priori. This is the groceries data set. Let's download it. How do I download data folder? Here it is. So here is the data set. So there is the stock code or SKU, description, quantity, invoice date, unit price, customer ID, country. That's it, right? Quantities being sold, and the invoice number is definitely there, which tells us what is being sold when. Okay. Now let's go back. First we import, then we read the Excel sheet. Let's load it. Let me open. Okay. Somebody made a request to explain. Ikrat Azim asks, what to do next? Data analyst. I'm in currently BSc final year. So you have a good chance of being a data analyst. Keep working. Uh, Data analyst is there, data science, the scientist is there, and data engineer is there. A good start could be data analyst, and you could explore. I also have to explain the Excel sheet again. I will do that. Just give me a minute. Let me first load the whole code. I'm just uploading the file. Give me a minute till I upload it into the system. Online retail. Yes. Okay. Done. Okay. Then let's also take the code. So then we are reading the data set, data.columns, data.country.unique, data description, invoice number, and so on. Then you create the basket for France and other countries. Then hot encoding the data. And then analyzing the results by running the association mining. And finally, from there, we get the frequent items. Let me see if the whole code is given together somewhere or not. No. So let's do it step by step. Let's load the first part. So import numpy, import. This is fine. Which library do we don't have? ML extend is not available. Let's see if we can install it. Now, before we go there, let me explain the Excel again. And also let me tell you about the concepts of lift and so on. Right. So let's go back to the Excel again because somebody asked, they did not understand the Excel fully. Yes, Kokul, I will send all the notes. Sharia asks, is data engineering better or data scientist? Both are good. There is nothing like this is better or that. It's like asking, should I pick up a Java project or Python project? Depends on your interest and the market demand. Both are good, right? What I was trying to explain, I will upload these Excel sheets as well. into the sessions. Like this is the inventory, right? With bread and butter, what is getting sold, and with bread and oil, what is getting sold. Let's say, for that matter, one is getting eggs, the other one is eating fruits, the third one is eating olive oil, fourth one is eating chips and burgers and vegetables and so on. Fifth one is eating sort of healthy food for kids and is a family, right? And so on. And then there is inventory. The inventory has, let's say, 5,000 SKUs, means 5,000 items. What is the aim here? We want to find out relationships. If we keep bread at the front counter and if the breads are getting sold, what are the other things that are likely to be sold with it? And if you are selling milk, what is it that is going to be sold along with it, right? So that is the kind of analysis we want to uh, do with a priori and association mining. See, the advantage of this analysis is the inventory can be managed. As you know, right, many of these things will spoil, especially the day-to-day consumables like these. Right, even after that, washing powder also has an expiry date. Your cornflakes also have an expiry date. Your multigrain atta also has an expiry date. So everything has an expiry date to some extent. So the shopkeeper or the superstore or the grocery store has to be careful. And so we are trying to find frequent items that are sold together and find the trends in sales or associations, as we call them, right? That is what we are trying to do. Correct. So that's our aim in terms of understanding these things. How many kgs or units or packets or liters or whatever the grocery store needs to keep. This is one business example in terms of how things can be managed, right? Okay. So does the now you need to remember some concepts which we'll see in some time. Support, lift, confidence. So confidence, support, and lift. We'll see them in 5-10 minutes, right? But other things are clear now with the Excel. I hope so for everyone. What we are trying to do. Okay, let's go back to our code and let's install this library. Hopefully it should be available. Let's go to our this thing. Let's switch to not installed and let's type MLX. If it's not there, it's a problem. Okay, let's find it out on the internet together. So we have to use conda install. Let's try that. I'm installing. Let me share the screen to show to you how it's getting installed. Is it visible? It will take a minute. Okay, done. Done. So let's see if it has become available in our library or not. I mean the environment. MLX. Do I need to restart? Let's restart. Just give me 1 minute. Let me restart my environment. It takes a minute for it to start, huh? So give me a minute. Okay, so it has become available to me now. Let me show it to you. I by mistake clicked and installed it second time. See, the ML extend has become available now. Do you all see it? Right? Everybody sees it. So let's start with our code. Let's go back and let's see if our code compiles now. Let's give it the name and let's see if it runs this time. Yes, it has run without errors. Okay. It is just a library name that is there, Sindhuja. I do not know what it stands for, but I will find it out. Then let's read the data set. Data set is in the same folder. We don't need this because it is in the same folder. Did I upload it here or somewhere else? Yes, it is uploaded. Let's give the path then. Let's put the file. It's already on desktop. Let's put the path of desktop. Just give me 1 minute till I fix this. Let's add the remaining code as well till it runs. I hope it is not open. No. Then we are doing data dot columns. Then we are doing data dot country dot unique. Let's also put that. Then we are taking description and invoice from it. And then we are creating baskets, right? By using the data country is exactly equal to France, group by invoice number, comma, description, and so on. So let's see that as well. Let's take encoding. Then the market basket analysis that is there. And lastly, the frequent items in terms of the rules. Yes, it has processed it, and now it is reading the Excel sheet. If you can see on my screen, I just made some small changes. Like I've always been telling you, um, Geeks for Geeks and all the sites are very good, but depending on what version of Python you are using, what your environment is, whether it is Linux, Mac, whether it is uh, Windows, or what it is, it might differ in terms of um, small changes that you might need to do, right? So see, now the thing is loading: invoice number, stock code, description, quantity, invoice date, and so on. Let's also do data.describe here. Let's see how many columns it has. I need to put a print. Right. So count is pretty high. That's why it's taking this much time. It has about 53,200, 53, actually 5,32,621 records. That's why it's slow, right? That's fine. Um, so strip extra spaces and all the data cleaning it does, right? Then we create the baskets, we check for encoding. What is encoding? I will tell you in a while. Let it first run one by one. We are creating baskets by country. This has run. Now this one has to run. Then we actually build the model where we have the lift, minimum threshold, and so on, which I will discuss in a minute. It takes a while because there is a lot of content um, um, which is there. I should not have clicked two columns to two cells together, but let's wait. Okay. Tulsi says, I did not understand what you're trying to explain, so let me explain again. Tulsi, what we are trying to do is we are reading an Excel sheet. The Excel sheet looks like this. Let's first open the Excel sheet. It is a largish Excel sheet, so give me a minute till I open it. We have enough days, so I will take some time to explain. Give me a minute. Let it open. Okay. So this is your Excel sheet. Are you able to see the Excel sheet, Tulsi? Right? Now this has lot of entries. Let's see how many total count is there. A very large count. Like I was saying, some 53,000 entries or something of that sort. Right? Not 53,000, but 530,000, 5,30,000. What we are trying to do here is multiple countries' data seems to be in this, as you see. See, United Kingdom, European Union, France, uh, and so on, right? All this data is there, Germany, and so on. What people are buying in this place with the invoice date, quantity, the stock code, what description of item it is, how much quantity, customer ID, and country. That is what they are trying to tell us, right? If you look at it, customer ID is this is same. So this person is buying all these items. Is the date same? Date is same. So for some of them. So it is sold on the same day. What all is sold in this Excel sheet? White hanging heart, tea light holder, white metal lantern, coat hanger, water bottle, white heart, nesting boxes, light holder, Union Jack, right? Polka dot, and so on. So till here, the person is buying something in their invoice. Okay. Yeah, are you with me, Tulsi? Right? They are buying such things. So if you look at the second record, 13047, they are buying these many items. So let's do this, right? All this is being bought. This is invoice number. This is the stock code of the item or the SKU as we call in India and US. This is the description of what they are buying. This is the quantity. This is the invoice date. This is the unit price and this is the country. Now, what we are trying to ascertain is if somebody buys a red coat, rack Paris fashion something, red coat, what is it that they are likely to buy with it? Or for that matter, if they bought color teaspoons, assorted color teaspoons, just like the example that I was explaining, same thing is here. Only difference is in one Excel sheet, they are having all the content. You got my point, all of you. So we are trying to do an analysis as to what all things are getting sold together, what is the frequent sales for items and so on, right? That is our aim in terms of doing the things. Does that answer your question now? So let's see the countries, France, United Kingdom, and so on, and the code, when it is sold. So all the invoices are together. There's a discount also applied and so on, right? Got it? Now let's go back to our code. So that's why it was taking time for it to read. And we are running it. Now let's discuss before we jump there what is confidence, lift, and support, right? See, what are the concepts here that we need to see? First one is confidence that they will show or support, right? Support means it is defined as the percentage of transactions in which an item appears. So how many times the item is appearing across invoices and so on, right? Why is it important? So that you know the number of transactions containing A upon total number of transactions, that tells you how often the item is being sold, right? Then you have confidence. Confidence is a statistical measure used in association rule mining that quantifies the likelihood that an association rule is correct. How likely is the frequent data set that we are trying to create? Um, uh, it is going to be right, right? So 80%, 70%, and so on. So number of transactions containing A and B upon number of transactions containing A. Don't worry about this, just remember what we discussed. Biscuits with chocolate, what is the confidence? 50%, which means 50% of the times uh, the confidence value shows the probability that a customer buys chocolate if they buy biscuits. To calculate this value, we need to divide. So it shows the relationship between them in terms of the confidence. And then there is lift, which is the strength of association between two items, which is lift is simply the ratio observed by the frequency of the two items, confidence of A and B by support of B. Now remember, this will sound like jargons and you will get confused in terms of what is happening. But just remember, when we are trying to find out the frequent data sets, what is important for us is to understand how likely they are to occur together. What is it that we will buy after one item when we are buying the second item, and so on. So those kind of things are what this support, lift, and confidence is telling us, right? That is what is being defined, that how frequently the items are being bought, what item is supposed is likely to be bought after that, how much confidence we have in that, and so on, right? So that's how many times it is existing out of all the transactions, those kind of things. Why is it important? Because we want to quantify our results based on that. So that is what is defined here in our rules. So per um, uh, country basket which we created, France, UK, and Sweden, we are able to see the rules and the rules heads, right, in terms of what is happening. And we get the support, confidence, lift, leverage, and conviction. Don't worry about it. But basically, the rules in terms of what things are getting sold together. If you see here, something is coming out, what is being sold together, right? We'll see that in a minute. Let's also put this, it is still running. Let's also run this because it is large, right? Let's print the whole thing if possible. And let's see. All three are running with lot of content. See, we have given minimum support, use the column names, basket for France, which we created here with the a priori and so on. This is all running on probabilities and such things. Now here are our rules that are getting printed, 348 rows into 9 columns, the frequent selling rules, the items which are there. Right? If we want to visualize it, let me try and see if we can write it into a CSV. It didn't throw an error. Is it still running? No. Let's go here and see. I'll just write it in a minute and I'll show you. Just give me 1 minute, like always. I will print it and I'll show it to you. Yes. So it's written now. See this, right? So now we have a some sort of a rules that have come out for frequent item data sets. Do you see this? There are some 400 and whatever number of rules, or 349 number of rules that have come out, right? Do you see this? It is getting formed here. Students, right? So that way we are doing. Now let's also, yes, I will explain. Just give me minute to print more things so that I can explain. Here are our frequent items. How did we get them? So frequent items are coming from the model that we create, and from this, what are the rules that are getting created? Don't worry about the rules, focus more on the frequent items. These seem to be the frequent items which are there. See, these are the single frequent items, these are the two level frequent items, then we might have three level frequent items, and so on. Do you see this? Some sort of frequent items are coming out. That is our aim. Tulsi, Kamla, sorry, right? Based on the model, we have tried to build out the frequent items which are there, right? The frequent items tell us how much, what items will get sold together, right? Generally. So single items, double items, two things together, three things together, and so on. So that is what we are getting here. See, one, two, three, four. Here, four things are together. So it seems plasters in Tin Circus Parade with plasters and postage and such things get sold. Red spotty paper cups with red retrospect napkins, paper plates, postage, such things get sold together. Um, Postage with space boy, lunchbox, and so on, right? So all such things are getting sold together. Again, here lunch pack design, lunchbox. What are the single items that are getting sold? So traditional spinning tops, alarm clock, bakeline green, assorted color mini cases. Do you see now something is coming out? So we are getting these frequent items, Ikrat, by using probability. So joint and other probability that we use, that is what the model of a priori is. I didn't discuss it, but that is obviously not part of our discussion. But what we are doing is just like we had y is equal to mx plus c, same way we have Bayes theorem and there are things in probability which are there. We use those formulas and that is pre-baked into the a priori model here, right? Now let's print frequent items and this for each of the basket, right? Let's do that and see. This one is for UK. This one is for Sweden. Let's run this one also. And let's see. It's still running. Let's just wait till it runs. See, our aim is to get the rules and to get the frequent items which are getting sold, right? So that is pre-baked into the logic of a priori. It's already 8:20, so I'm not explaining, going into the details of that, but basically we are using probability. So think of it like this, right? If I sell one item, see, I keep creating patterns. I have a data set. I will know what is getting sold with milk. So there are, we keep building the model with it. Then next time when we are using something else, by probability, we can calculate if this item was sold, what are the other items which are sold? And frequency obviously is easier to calculate. So those two things we mix and build into the model and find out the pattern. Let it run. Okay. So one has run, which is UK. So these are the rules and these are the frequent items. So these are the frequent items which are getting sold. See, because UK was a largest data set compared to France and Sweden, we have lot many more things. Single items getting sold, dual items getting sold, three items together, and so on. These are multiple items together. Are you seeing this? Okay, let's also see for Sweden. Again, similar, people are buying lot many things together also. So the largest frequency seems to be 1, 2, 3, three sets of things, right? That is what is happening. I'll tell you more things about it tomorrow. It's almost 8:24. Let's also look at little bit of decision tree. Should we do that? At least at high level, did everybody understand something that is happening? We are using probability pre-baked into a model to find out the frequent items. At least that much we have understood. See, we just have 2 hours for me to explain this, but we'll try to cover more things tomorrow. Let's also see decision tree. So decision tree compared to that is easier, right? You have like, see, this is a decision tree. There is a table also with which we can build it, right? Uh, so this is the example that they have, right? It's like a flow chart. We all know that whether a person will go to a comedy show or not, that they are trying to decide, right? So we are trying to break based on rank, nationality, age, experience, and so on. So there are 4 levels here, right? And there are concepts like Gini, samples, and value. We'll see in a minute what it is, right? So see, firstly, rank. Rank means any value at which we break. On the left side, the true arrow will go. The right side, the other values will be going, right? So means that every comedian with a rank 6.5 or lower will follow the true path, which is here to our left, and the false will go here. Gini means the quality of the split, right? Whether the split is done exactly in the middle or not. So if it's 0.5, the data set is getting broken exactly in the middle, right? Here it's almost that 0.497, which means 6 and 7 values, and total samples are 13. So that is what is rank, Gini, samples, and value, right? So that is what they are trying to do here. Let's see the code and let's also run it. Again, they don't have the whole code together. I will run it. Let's create a new file. Call it decision tree. and let's create it. Okay, data.csv I have not yet taken. Let me take the data.csv. Let me create it. Oh, yes, uh, Tulsi, I will send all the files to you. It will be there in LMS and all the recordings. You can refer them. You can go to the links. The links are open source. I am only picking up examples that are open source and available on the internet. Just like you, I am debugging them in front of you, right? It's not as if it is some magic. So don't worry. You will get all the content. Okay. Let me upload data.csv here. See, all of the concepts are not at all difficult. It's just a question of practice. As you can see, to be true, I did not get any time to prepare. So what I have done is I am running right in front of you all the things, right? If you see, all the things that I'm doing are right in front of you. Let's pick up the same thing from the same place where we picked that up. I'm going through the same struggle that you would probably go through. So there is a codec issue. Let me fix that. So let's just see the example. I will run it tomorrow. So what we are doing is based on the data that we are trying to build a split based on that and decide whether we will go or not. So see, this is our table, right? This is our table. Age of the comedian, the experience, rank, nationality, and so on. And based on whatever parameters that we have a decision of yes, no, and so on, right? So based on that, we are trying to create a decision tree. And the important concepts that are there here for us is obviously the rank, Gini, samples, and value that I tried to explain. There will be total 13 if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You try to do a split by running through that. So the first one that happens is see the rank, because rank is important for us, right? What is the ranking of the person? So 6.5 is our split that it decides. Then it goes to nationality. Again, it checks 0.5, in the sense it has internally decided to divide it, and then it divides it into 1 and 7 samples. Then it divides it based on age, then finally experience, and we get the true or false decision or not, right? That is how it is printing the decision tree. Another example that I can show you is let's run our iris decision tree example, because I have the libraries for it. So iris dataset is a famous dataset by one of the biologists from uh, almost uh, in the 1800s and 1900s. He picks up three or four types of flowers, right? And based on those flowers, what he did is he observed the sepal length, the length of the petal, and so on. All those measurements he did, and based on that, he created this data set. So we can run a decision tree on that as well if we want, right? So if you look at it, you will have the library here. This is done in R, actually very similar libraries to that, and they run the decision tree on this, and based on that they break like this. See, specifically all the different types of flowers with the various heights, various lengths, and so on for the sepal and petal they come up. Right? There is setosa, there is virginica, there is there are three or four types of flowers, and based on their parameters, it breaks and it gives us the output values in this decision tree. Again, a very simple example which is there, which we can use, right? I will paste this also in the chat box. So this is something that is there for the. Uh, is my voice breaking? Kamla says, I don't think so. Yes, website link is already shared, Nidhi, right? So this is another example that you can check out. I will add this in the tips tomorrow, right? So this data set and the decision tree that we run on top of it, right? Okay. So it's almost 8:35. We will continue with decision tree tomorrow. Now let's see if we can put some things in the chat GPT. Explain iris data set that I was trying to explain to you. This immediately says no. See, 1936, I told you, right? Around, it has 150 observations with sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. So there is setosa, there is versicolor, there is virginica. These are the three types of flowers which exist in that data set. So that's about that for me today. I know you will still have a lot of questions, so you can ask those here and I'll try to answer them, whatever you have not understood. Let's use this 10-15 minutes to at least If you are interested in knowing, somebody asked me how does a priori internally work. So if you open the Wikipedia page, you will get the algorithm here, how it is internally working. No, Tulsi. Can we use it for customer satisfaction survey? So, see, customer satisfaction survey also can be done on a Likert scale or various types of scales or numbers, right? So, if there are numbers, one of the algorithms can be fit on it. Otherwise, there is NLP and other things also to process that. Ikrath has a question. How do I become a data analyst? I'm pursuing BSc final year. My suggestion would be to attend as many this courses that you can, which are of interest to you around this. Um, and then try to do some internships, good internships, Ikrath. If you do good internships, then your result towards a job will be better, right? Statistics can only work with numbers. No, actually, we can take words and then convert them into numbers also, right, Suvarna? So then words and characters and other things also become numbers only. So we can work with that in that way. So all the characters and all the words have a binary representation, and also we can represent them in decimal, right, Suvarna? So we can process you in NLP, natural language processing. What do? We actually divide, we actually convert the numbers into frequencies at times, right? So once we do that, for all the words, after removing things like the and, or, and so on, we try to find meaning out of it or try to process it. So it's not as if at that point of time there will be classes and such things, right? We will see SVM in the coming days, Hari Krishna. But Suvarna, that is your answer in terms of only numbers, because even words can be converted into numbers. So then again, we can run statistics. In the missing value in the data set, the Jupyter work, there also, yeah, some error created there. Uh, Errors will come, Pratik. The more work we do, the more problems we will face and we will fix them. Missing values, if you treat them, problems can happen. If that is your question, you have to do that in a very careful way. Like I showed you in Chat GPT, right? There are 4 or 5 techniques. So SVM, the major difference, Hari Krishna, is that it is a hyperplane, right? 2-3 dimensional. In the sense, SVM, what it does is, um, instead of a straight line, you want to divide a data set by a line which is not linear, in a way, not a straight line. That's when SVM works for us. No, so Suvarna, single items also are getting sold, and items in combinations are also getting sold. So see, even if our invoice, everything has a number, you can also count the single items in the frequency, right? That is the reason the single items are there. Like Suppose bread is getting sold in 80% of the items. So in our frequent items, bread will be shown first alone. Then you will start to see combinations. That is how a priori works. Okay, welcome. Any other questions? Are you providing important questions for an interview? Yes. So let's make a list again and I will share that tomorrow. Not in an Excel, let's make it in a notepad. Okay, let me share. So, what are the major algorithms in ML? Uh, where is association mining used? What is support, lift, and confidence? Um, how does the model work? Because that was one question. Explain the data sets for association mining, any data set, right? Uh, explain decision tree and its important areas, concepts, and so on. So you can get such questions. From where did you download the missing library? Okay, let me show that also, Suvarna. ML extend, right? Okay, let me show that also. How did I download it? Hold on. So this is what I did. See, if you go to Anaconda, first of all, the distribution, right? ML extend, then you will get a page. On this page, you will get the commands. Okay. I have taken this command. Then I have gone to the Anaconda Navigator. Here I have opened the CMD exe prompt. The prompt looks like this. Then I have run the command like this. Got it? Suvarna? Yes? Okay. I'm sure it provides. Let's see if it provides. Let's ask it. Tell us about current affairs in India and the world. Chat GPT, but I think it is up till December 2021. Bard is connected to internet is what I understand. Let's see. See, September 2021. So this will not provide, but Bard will probably provide. Yes. See, the Union Cabinet has approved the production linked incentive scheme for IT hardware. The Indian economy is expected to grow. The Indian government has accelerated corporate exit processing center. Finance ministry is that there will be no from Mahila Samaj saving certificate and so on. Got it? World also. United States. What is the limitation of BART towards the last 2 days? We will see this. For today, Suvarna, decision tree is the final thing. Tomorrow we'll see new things. And we'll also see one iris related example of decision tree again. What is the limitation of BARD? So it is a language model. So for some of the things it says, start saying no. I have observed. We asked it few questions like explain iris data set. So it is said I am not able to assist you with that. Whereas Chat GPT explains it well. Right? See this. Explain iris data set. So both seem to be having its own set of strengths. Meghna, I'll find out some good. Let's come ask it to compare only, na? Compare Chat GPT with Bard. By September 2021, Bard was not there. But in Bard, we can see the comparisons. Do you see this? Okay. So, Amar, you will take over now.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
We will, yeah, okay.
So, guys, I already shared the attendance link in the chat box. Please mark your attendance. I'm sharing once again. And if you have any query or question, please drop here. Vivek, when is the last day for this first session? So it will be we have to do a 6 more days. So next week, Friday, like 26th. If I'm not wrong, then it will be 26th May. Let me check. Yeah, 26th May, right? Clear, Vivek? Guys, any query? Every time do we have to add to cart and then watch the record sir? No, Meghna. Once you need to add to cart and then definitely you will show the classroom on the home tab. Okay. So simply you need to click on that classroom, chat GPT in AI classroom, then you will get the record sessions, material and attendance link over there. Return tomorrow class, sir? Yes, tomorrow we have class. Tomorrow is a Friday, na? Meghna, clear? No need to add it multiple time. Okay. Guys, tomorrow we have class. Tomorrow is a Friday. Saturday, Sunday we have week offs. Thank you. Thank you, Kamal. Guys, any query? Any query, any feedback, anything? Tomorrow maybe it's decision tree. Meghna, you're asking for next program. I will explain that in the last session. Okay. I think you guys don't have any query or question. Very helpful classes and big thanks to ExcelR for providing this golden opportunity. Thank you so much, Meghna, for such a valuable feedback. Okay, then thank you so much, all of you, for joining the session. That's for the day. We'll meet you on tomorrow at same time. Tirunad, you can